Yo, so we got news about Arataki ITTO'S banner coming out in the second half of 2.7. And honestly, the banner looks really well. One banner looks really good. One banner is very unfortunate because look, well, we're going to talk about it. First, I want to address something. First of all, big shout out to the members. Thank you so much for helping support the channel. I appreciate you guys. Second, I want to talk about my facial hair situation. I'm kind of growing my beard out. It looks a little dumb right now. Give it time. Could be good, could be bad. Never done it. Right now, I'm kind of in like a weird phase where it's like if Aquaman got laid off from the Justice League. I'm probably going to trim it up. I don't know why I felt the need to talk about this, but I feel like it's so out of hand that I wanted to at least address it. So let's talk about the banners. First up, the character banner. Arataki ITTO'S Oni Royale is back with Chongyun, Gorou, and Shinobu. This is kind of a stacked banner because here's the thing. If you're planning on wishing for Arataki ITTO, Gorou is his #1 support. Period. He's absolutely the best character to have around when it comes to a ITTO team. And of course, we knew Shinobu was going to be on here, but Chongyun's a nice addition. It works out for me because I don't have C6 Chongyun, so I wouldn't mind getting a few. But I want to kind of do a brief overview of each of the characters, what they're going to be good for, and then we're going to do an in-depth video talking about ITTO. Be sure to make sure you subscribe to check that out. I've had ITTO since his last banner, and I've been using him at C1, and he is just a blast. He's so much fun. Here's the thing. I don't really know that I need to go super in depth talking about each character individually. So we're just going to do kind of an overall talk about each character, starting off with Chongyun. Chongyun is honestly a character that I've tried to like start building multiple times, but the awesome cryo characters just kept coming out. So I haven't had crystals forever. So Chongyun's definitely a character that I think is a solid pick. You can add him to a lot of teams and he's super fun. Actually, one combination I'm thinking about using is Chongyun with Ayato for like a cool like freeze comp type thing. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work out right now, but I think it'll be dope. Anyway, Chongyun overall, mainly what he's used for is going to be to imbue your attacks with cryo. So for any character that uses a sword, a claymore, or a polearm, you can make their attacks cryo for their normal attacks. And with his passive talent, you get an increased normal attack speed by 8%. And with his C2, you actually get their cooldowns reduced by 15% if you cast another character's elemental skill or elemental burst inside of that field. So honestly, I really like that whole package there. I think that's a really good set of abilities that you can have just on a character. Not to mention his elemental burst is pretty solid. It's only a 40 energy cost. It doesn't seem like it does a whole lot of damage, but you have it up so frequently. And when you're using this character, you're probably going to be running them on some sort of Blizzard Stray or something or another. So you'd be better off running them with another cryo character for the cryo resonance, which means you'll be getting this constantly. You'll be able to use it constantly. And I've seen this thing put up some serious numbers. Now he does have a couple constellations that I think are worth pulling for. Let's talk about it. So first up, like I said, his C2 is great. His C4 honestly is pretty solid for energy regeneration as well. For every time you hit an enemy affected by cryo, you literally get a 40th of your energy back. That's a lot. And then finally, his C6 is pretty decent, where it basically just gives you more damage as long as your health is above the enemy's health percentage wise. Overall, pretty solid. I recommend running him on a 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Blizzard Stray. That's kind of how I planned on running him. Right now, he's on a 4-piece Noblesse for some reason. Not really sure. And I definitely think his best weapon is going to be the sacrificial sword. Being able to get his field back as much as possible is definitely something that I recommend. The next character that we have access to talking about is going to be Gorou. Gorou is one of those characters that I was like, I guess I gotta build him. Like I just have to, because if I want the strongest ITTO possible, I have to build Gorou. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about Gorou in the ITTO video as well, but we'll do a brief overview of him here. Gorou, you basically want to make sure that you max out his defense. Give him as much defense as you possibly can. There's only one instance where I recommend not running all defense on all of his artifacts, and that's if you're doing what I'm doing and running the Favonius Warbow. Favonius Warbow allows you to just generate more energy, making sure that you can keep all of your bursts up on all of your characters as much as possible. If you have an R5, you have a 100% chance for crits to have a chance to generate a small amount of elemental particles. Okay, so yeah, at R1, you have a 60% chance it occurs every 12 seconds. R5, which I'm sure a lot of people have by now, 100% every 6 seconds. So this thing produces quite a bit of energy. There's those white energy particles, they come in a lot of handy. a lot of handy. Is that even... Anyway, now when it comes to his artifacts, I definitely recommend running a 2-piece of Opulent Dreams and a 2-piece Emblem Severed Fate. This is going to make sure that you give him that 30% damage, or sorry, that 30% defense to make sure that he's buffing up Itto as much as possible. And then also going to be the 2-piece energy recharge, just to kind of make sure that he keeps his burst as much as he can. Now keep in mind, he doesn't just have to be buffing Itto. Obviously, if he's, you know, if you have another main Geo DPS that you like using, Ningguang, maybe he could buff those characters as well. When it comes to talents, there's 2 that I recommend leveling up, and honestly his field is probably going to be the one that I recommend leveling up the most because you get it so frequently. This can have 100% uptime, 10-second duration, 10-second cooldown. You can have this constantly. You may not always have his forward onto victory, but when you do, essentially this field just follows you around. I guess I should explain what the field does. It gives you a defense increase, a geo damage bonus increase, as well as does a little bit of skill damage. Now, whenever you use this skill, you're also going to get another 25% defense for 12 seconds, and he'll get a defense increase for using his 2 abilities. But the important thing about Gorou, and this is kind of awful, is his constellations. His constellations are invaluable when you're building a geocentric team, just a mono geo team. If you pledge yourself to geo supremacy, I implore you to try to get a C6 Gorou because it's just so valuable. Let's talk about it. Now look, all of his constellations are pretty detailed. They're pretty decent. Like, his constellations are good overall, but his main ones are C4 to me and C6. C6 is his biggest one. C4 basically makes it so that if any active character inside of his field will heal every 1.5 seconds based on his defense. So it'll be 50% of his defense every 1.5 seconds. It's really, really solid. It doesn't do like a ton. You're not going to get like an amazing healing out of this. This isn't like a Bennett heal or anything like that, but you're going to get some effect from it. It is going to help out a little bit. And honestly, it's just free healing. It doesn't really have to be like the main selling feature of his abilities. But his C6 is just busted. So for 12 seconds, either after using his skill or his burst, it increases crit damage of all nearby party members, geo damage based on the buff level of the skill's field time at use. Let me explain what that means. So essentially, if Gorou is accompanied by 1 other geo character, you have the standing firm bonus. If you have 2 characters, you have the impregnable bonus. If you have the 3 characters on like 3 other geo characters, so if you have a full geo squad, you add the crunch bonus. So you can see based on which bonus you have on basically how many geo characters you have in that team, you can get up to 40% additional crit damage. It's just crazy. So yeah, honestly, I mean, a 40% buff to your crit damage is nuts. So this character is invaluable when it comes to talking about Itto. I definitely recommend pulling for him. I mean, it's crazy that this is a 4-star and that literally to unlock his full potential, you have to have him at C6. Like, there's just no way around it. So yeah, now the last 4-star on the banner is talking about Shinobu. Obviously, we don't know a whole lot about her yet. We kind of know a little bit about her abilities, but I'm not going to go super in depth because I don't really know how to talk about her yet. There's definitely some talk about how to build her right now. The main thing that stuck with me that I know from what she does is she hurts herself to heal others. So I'm thinking somewhere in the constellations, there's going to be either a buff to the healing or like a refund of the health that you put in or something. So expect her constellations to be really good. But that's it for the character banner. Obviously, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about Arataki Itto in the next video. Make sure to check that out. So next, I want to talk a little bit for a second about the weapon banner, because this is the banner that I was going to pull on. I was obviously going to try to wish a little bit and get a C6 Chongyun and get at least like a couple Shinobu. I don't really care about getting any more Ittos, but I was like, dude, I'll just get the weapon banner and I'll get Itto's weapon and then Itto will be cracked. And then they did this. Yeah. Memory of dust. I'm so sad. So Itto's Redhorn Stonethresher is an absolute Giga Chad weapon. It's so good. But dude, Memory of Dust is such a risk. This is like Jade Cutter and the Space Donut all over again. I called that thing the Space Donut for so long, I actually don't remember. Is it Moonglow? Is it something Moonglow? I don't know. I was so sad when I got that. I don't want it to happen again here with Memory of Dust. That's what I don't want. Now, the 4-stars on this weapon banner are pretty good. I don't know, they're okay. Stringless is amazing. Fischl, Venti, best in slot. Lion's Roar is decent. Dragon's Bane, solid for your Zhangling mains. Lithic Blade, which is solid if a lot of your team consists of like leeway characters or anything like that. And then Sacrificial Fragments. I definitely like this weapon. So overall, the 4 stars are okay, but God, I'm so sad they didn't just put it with something decent. Why? Even if they would have had like Skyward Blade or like Aquila Favonia, like weapons that people care about but don't really care about, I would much rather have had one of those on there. But no, alas, we have Memory of Dust. So with all that being said, let me know what you're thinking about wishing on, if you're going to be wishing this time around or not. I know with Jesus on the horizon, I am definitely stocking up on potential resources that he could use. Not sure. But aside from that, I am pumped to see Arataki Itto back in the limelight because, dude, this is one of my favorite characters to use and he's so freaking strong. It's great. I would have been shocked if they didn't put Gorou on his banner. I'm so glad he's on there because he is vital to Itto being successful. And not just at C6. You can totally use Gorou at C0 and still be effective. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again to the members of the channel. I love you guys. And if you want to check out the last video where we showed off the Archon quest, I got to react to the whole thing. You guys got to come along on the ride. That was such a long video, so please go show it some love. I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I love you guys. See you on the next one.